Hi everybody, it's Jody from Growing Book by Book, and it's Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Time, so that means it is time for a live chat. So I welcome everyone who is joining live and those of you who are watching the replay. As you're joining us, please type in where you're from in the comments below. I'd love to see where everyone is from. We live just outside of St. Louis, Missouri on the Illinois side. So tonight we are going to talk about magnetic letters. So give me a like or say yes if you have some magnetic letters hanging out in your refrigerator. Yes, we do. We have, they just kind of hang out there all the time and sometimes don't get used. So we're going to put those magnetic letters to use tonight. I'm going to share 8 different ways that you can use magnetic letters to work on letter identification, to work on letter sounds, and even to work on spelling. So we're going to start with one of my very favorite ways to use magnetic letters. And that is a game that my at the time, I think he was 2. My oldest son is 5 now, but at the time, I think he was about 2.5, and he actually invented this little game. So we've had magnetic letters in our house for the longest time. I also used them all the time when I was in the classroom, especially when I taught the early elementary grades. So we also have an easel, which makes it very convenient for the magnetic letters, but you could totally use it on a refrigerator or any magnetic surface. So the one that I have for you tonight is actually a cookie sheet, which is a great way and an easy way to use magnetic letters. So you can use them, refrigerator, anything that's magnetic is going to work. So easel, refrigerator, a cookie sheet, even if you want to take them outside, your garage door, most garage doors are magnetic. And so it's fun to even take them outside and use them on the garage door too. Or if you're in the classroom, a file cabinet, if you still have a file cabinet, or a metal bookshelf. So one of the first games that I want to show you that we play is, I just have A through E up here right now, but I usually put the whole alphabet out in order. And you can do lowercase or uppercase for this activity. It's not going to matter. It's really what your child needs to work on, whether they need to work on lowercase recognition or uppercase recognition. And so what we do is, my kids, and you can do this with probably no more than 2 kids, I would say, at a time, otherwise it can get a little chaotic. But what I do is I close my eyes and the kids come and they remove one of the letters. So I'll pretend that I'm a child. The adult has their eyes closed, child removes a letter. And then I open my eyes, and when they pick the letter, then they run and hide somewhere in the room. So I open my eyes and I start to say the alphabet song, or sing the alphabet song. So I go A, B, hey, wait a minute, there's a letter missing. The letter C is missing. Where did the C go? And of course you hear giggles in the background because the kids think it's so funny that they have the letter C. And so I just play it up. I'm like, C, where did you go? Come back, C. Come back to me. And so they'll run back and they'll put the letter back right where it goes. And so this is fun. My kids still play it to this day. Over 2 years later, they still like to play this because they think it's so silly that they can go take a letter and then run and hide, and they wait for me to name the letter and then they have to bring it back. Sometimes I'll even put actions with it. So for example, I might say for the letter D, if they took the letter D, when I say, D, where did you go? Come back, D. Dig your way here. And then on their way back, they would have to pretend like they were digging with their hands all the way back. So you can put word actions to it too, to help reinforce that letter sound in words that begin with that letter. So for R, you could do run. For J, you could do jump. H, you could do hop. S, you could do skip. So on and so forth. So we call this game Runaway Letter. So that's a fun one that we like to do. Another one that we do is, hi Lindsay, glad you could join us. Another one that we like to do is called If You Know the Letter Sound. and it's actually a song to the tune of If You're Happy and You Know It. And again, I just use a magnetic easel, or I mean, it can be a cookie sheet too. It's not really going to matter. And for this song, we're going to do one letter at a time. And you can do, again, whatever letters that you're working on, or letter sounds that you're working on with your child. So we're going to do the letter H for this. So again, it's to the tune of If You're Happy and If You're Happy and You Know It. So it goes, if you know the letter sound, say it now. If you know the letter sound, say it now. If you know the letter sound, then your mouth will surely say it. If you know the letter sound, say it now. And then all the kids respond. You want to be really careful when you're doing these letter sounds like this, that you're not adding extra phonemes onto the end. So this is just, almost sounds like a breath of air for H. It's just, it's not huh, because you don't add that sound to the end. That'll really confuse kids when they start to sound out words when they're learning to read. Samantha asked, when's a good age to start using the ABC magnet letters? Most magnet letters, they say, are for ages 3 and up because of the small magnets. My kids started to use them when they were 2, but they weren't putting things in their mouth. So these activities are all appropriate for 2 and up. You just want to be careful with the magnetic letters if you have a child who's still putting things in their mouth, that the little magnets could come loose. So most of the magnetic letters that you'll find that are available will probably say ages 3 and up. This is my absolute very favorite brand of magnetic letters. We've had these for several years, and I like that they're the jumbo size. They're by Educational Insights, and when I'm done with the video, I'll put a link down below of where you can find these. They're my favorite. I mean, you can find really cheap sets at the dollar store, or the dollar spot like at Target, usually, especially at back to school time, we'll have them. But this set really, we have the lowercase and the uppercase set, and I love the size of them, and they're durable, and we use these on a weekly basis, and I've never had any of the magnets come loose. So, okay, so that's the song, If You're Happy and You Know It, to the tune, or that's the tune, and we turned it into If You Know the Letter Sound, Say It Now. And I actually recorded a video of that song too, and I'll leave a link below if you want to check that out again too. All right, so we talked about runaway letter. We did If You Know the Letter Sound. The next one is another one that we just, my 3-year-old who just turned 4, and I have been doing lately. And this one we call Can You Circle the Letter? So for this activity, we just take 4 magnetic letters and put them on a board, or in this case, a cookie sheet. And again, it can be upper or lowercase. It really just tailor it to what your child is working on. And so this one, we're working on letter identification, and we're working on letter sounds. And so we do this one to the tune of Do You Know the Muffin Man? So it goes like this. It says, can you circle the letter D, the letter D, the letter D? Oh, can you circle the letter D, 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 D? And so then the child takes a dry erase marker, because dry erase markers will work on most magnetic boards, and even on the cookie sheet it will work too, and then you can just erase it with a paper towel. So they circle the letter D. So they're working on some some writing skills too, of making a circle. Hi Meredith, thanks for joining in. And you don't have to do these in order. You can mix them up and then go ahead and do all 4 letters. So if we were going to do for E, we could do, can you circle the letter E, the letter E, the letter E? Can you circle the letter E, eh, eh, eh? So then they circle that. So my son loved to circle all the letters, then they simply remove them. And for a little extra practice to remove them, you can just have the child, as they take them off, name the letter on their own. So they would say E, D, K, S. And I didn't bring down a little eraser with me. We usually use like an old sock or a paper towel and erase your board. And then you can put 4 more letters up and sing along again. So that one is, can you circle the letter? Couple of other things that we do with the letters too is I like to use, we have a few puzzles, I think they're the Melissa and Doug puzzles, that have the little fishing wands with them. To get the puzzle pieces out, this isn't a Melissa and Doug fishing rod, but it's a different one. But I love using these when they outgrow the puzzles. And we just simply put a bunch of loose magnetic letters down, and then they use the magnetic wand and they go fishing for a letter. So in this case, they caught the letter and they have to take it off and name the letter S, and then say the letter sound. So if you have these already that you're using with puzzles, these little fishing sticks with the magnets, or you could even make your own. You just need a stick and some string, tie a little magnet. These are fun to go fishing for letters. Magnetic letters are also great just for matching. So if you have an uppercase and a lowercase set on the magnetic board, they could just match up the uppercase and the lowercase letters together. So that's another way to do matching letters. Another idea that I just recently discovered, and I don't know why I didn't do this before, my kids for a long, long time were huge train fanatics. I mean, we own so many Thomas the Tank trains, it's ridiculous. But I never thought of doing something super simple, which was adding magnetic letters to the train table. You don't really have to do anything except just lay the magnetic letters out and let them go, and you will be amazed at the different ways that they play with the magnetic letters during their train play. So one of the things that my kids discovered is that some of the train cars are magnetic. They're cranes. So this is little Kevin, and his crane goes up and down and it's magnetic. So it's perfect if you have magnetic letters out on the train table, then they can simply just pick up the different letters. And as they're doing it, they can name the letter like, oh, I just got an A load. I need to deliver this to wherever. I can't remember all the places in Thomas the Train. And you have Salty the Crane. You have the big taller cranes. They're great. My kids also liked on some of the other cars that are the flatbed cars that they would actually just load up the letters on top of the car and then take the letters down the track and roll them all around. So perfect if you have a train table. Just set out some magnetic letters and just let their imagination go as they play with the letters. You can sit down next to them and just kind of talk about, oh, I see you picked up the letter A. Where are you going to deliver the letter A to today? Or practice saying the sounds. Oh, there's the letter A. Does that train have a load of apples on it? So just, I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. It just kind of dawned on me recently as I was cleaning up, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, magnetic letters, magnetic trains, these two really could go together. So that's my number 8 tip for you is put some magnetic letters out on the train table, and you will be surprised at how letter recognition starts and letter sounds. So if your child already is recognizing letters and is learning letter sounds, you can move on to actually using them to do some word work with too. So I said my oldest son is 5. He does know his letters and his letter sounds now. So he's starting to put those letters in together to make words. So we've been doing some word work with the magnetic letters. So a couple of ways that we've done it is we've taken some very basic consonant, vowel, consonant words. Consonant, vowel, consonant words. So this word 10, and what we'll do is I'll introduce the word 10, and then I might scramble up the letters and have him rebuild the word 10. And we'll say each sound as we pull it down. T, 10. And have him run his finger underneath. And then what I used is I have a little piece of dry erase Post-it tape, and I'll leave a link below as soon as I'm done talking tonight if you're interested in that. And then he can use the dry erase marker and he can practice writing the word below, and then he can simply just erase it off. So then from here what we'll do is I'll say, let's remove the beginning sound. So this is great at recognizing beginning, middle, and end, and he'll remove the beginning sound. And then I'll say, let's change 10 to men. And so he'll find, I have a couple other letters down here. He'll find the letter that represents the sound and put it right up there. And then we go through our new word, men, men. Scramble it up. Let's rebuild it. Men. And then write it. You don't have to do this writing part. It really depends on your child's ability and interest level. Sometimes we just do the scrambling of the letters. And sometimes I make it a little more dramatic. I'll take them off and I'll shake them up and I'll toss them down, whatever works. But we can go through, so we can take the beginning sound out again. Let's keep our N chunk there. And now maybe we can turn it into someone's name, Ben. So we'll get out the capital B. We have B, E, N. Scramble it up, build it back, B, E, N, and write it out. So magnetic letters are great even as your child gets older, because you can start to build simple words with it, and this is going to help with reading. Even you can take it a step further. Even if you have an older child and they're working on their spelling words, they could build them with magnetic letters and write them. And again, you don't need this tape. It just shows up a little bit better because it's white, this dry erase Post-it. You could write directly on the cookie sheet, and it'll erase right off. Or if you have a magnetic easel, or if you're in the classroom, a magnetic surface too, where they could write, would all work. So those are just 9 ways that you can use magnetic letters. I actually have several more ideas on my blog, Growing Book by Book, and you can get there by 2 ways. I will put a link down below as soon as we're done with the video tonight, or you can go to growingbookbybook.com, and in the search bar just type in magnetic letters, and the 2 different posts will pop up that are full of different ideas of my own and different ideas that I found from my fellow bloggers. So I thank you so much for joining me tonight. Join me again next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Depending on what device you're on, up in the corner, you should see a subscribe button right after this broadcast, and then Facebook will notify you when I go live. Or you can also follow the Growing Book by Book newsletter, and I send out a newsletter every Sunday, and I always send a reminder in there too of when our live broadcast is. So if there is something that you would like me to cover in upcoming Facebook Live videos, please leave a comment below. I would love some ideas of things that you would like to know about, because I love to share literacy tips and books for kids. So thank you again for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. Bye.